Hey, it's Madeline, and this is my final reflection for my field experience in this semester and kind of everything to be wrapped up in this module. First off, I just wanted to say I think the biggest thing that I learned during my field experience, I was in kindergarten, so first off, that was just interesting to really see kind of the pacing of this semester because it was definitely a little bit slower moving than other classrooms I've been in, but that's because they're just in kindergarten. They just got there, in August, and they're learning how to be at school and how to be an elementary student. So that was actually kind of cool to kind of go back and see all those building blocks being kind of laid out in a classroom. And that kind of brings me to the biggest thing that I learned was really students' basic needs and how to meet them kind of starting out the school year and set those routines for elementary students, especially kindergartners, and how like building those predictable schedules and clear directions can really help kids kind of focus and learn like on a day-to-day basis. And it was just really neat to see all those building blocks be laid out and, all the things that my teacher kind of implemented throughout the semester and built upon to show the students, this is how we learn day to day, and this is how we go to school, and this is the things that are kind of part of a classroom, and kind of work that into every subject really with all those routines and expectations and everything. So it was kind of cool to just slow down and kind of remember this is the building blocks for these kids' rest of their elementary career and elementary school is how to be at school and how to be a student. So that was really, really neat to see this semester. And also I kind of saw just how important small groups is. I think that was a big thing for me. Like, while yes, whole group instruction has its time and place, I think really the biggest and most effective learning comes from that one-on-one to small group support. And that's when you can really, pick out the students that need extra help or have fallen behind, or kids that need maybe more of a challenge during the day, and to really get that personalized instruction and really benefit each kid in your classroom with small group support. And then another thing kind of behind like the science and teaching strategy I found most intriguing while kind of going through this whole process of everything was, in my opinion, my favorite was the hands-on learning and kind of bringing real things in the classroom. I had did my science lesson on, North Carolina agriculture and bringing in sweet potatoes into the classroom and kind of letting the kids measure and draw and kind of feel and describe and let the students kind of explain their first reactions to seeing maybe a vegetable or produce they've never seen before, and seeing how they connected that to science with their five senses, and just kind of seeing their little wheels turning when they first got those sweet potatoes of, man, I can see this, I can describe it, I have all these new ways to look at this sweet potato that they've maybe seen in the grocery store or at the farmer's market or wherever, but never really thought to use all five of their senses, except for taste. We did not taste them. To look at a new thing and look at a new object. So it was really engaging, and I think it worked really well in the classroom. And I think hands-on and learning through play is one of my biggest teaching philosophies that I have developed over the past few years being in Watson, and even this past semester, especially being in a kindergarten class, just how much learning through play and that intrinsic motivation of finding something students care about and are interested in and can engage in, how much that kind of promotes learning growth within students. And I think science is one of the best, if not the best, place to bring in hands-on experiments and learning. And that's a subject that teachers can really thrive in, bringing all those fun things to life in a classroom, and just kind of allowing students to kind of grow and share what they know about whatever they're learning about. So that was a good topic this semester. And something that I wish that I kind of learned more about, I guess, to kind of incorporate in future courses, I think maybe kind of showing like the 3 levels of the tasks, like the behavior strategies for big groups with lots of like the IEPs and 504 plans, but also just like learning how to do the simple kind of checklists and the low prep version of like lesson planning. I think that would help a little bit, and showing like, yes, like the detailed lesson plans are great, and that's a great foundational building skill that we need to carry with us throughout our whole teaching career, but maybe looking at just some more broad and general ways to plan lessons, of just kind of day to day in the real world of teaching and in the real world of a classroom, and just having those more low prep days where you're not always going to have the time and flexibility to have these big grand experiments or drawn out lessons, or super detailed. Some days you need more of those low prep and low maintenance kind of lesson plans, and just keeping it realistic with some of it. But kind of the final things, like with my teaching compass, I'm gonna attach a picture, a PDF of it, but I'll just kind of go over some of the things that I put for it for my north pointing point of my compass. I put my top one, going back to that routines was the most important and foundational skills. So it's safe and predictable routines. I saw my teacher had really great morning routines that the kids, as soon as they came into the classroom, they knew what they were expected to do, and it really just started off each day on a positive note. So I just kind of said, start every day with the same quick routine, use lots of anchor charts for your classroom, for kind of steps that go along the day, and behavior anchor charts, of course. And just make sure meeting those physical needs first so the kids can learn, whether that's water, snacks, or bathroom breaks. So making sure all those are taken care of for the kids before they can kind of focus on learning. I remember I had a student in one field experience who unfortunately just had not the best situation at home, and was, falling asleep or hungry during the mornings, and was not able to participate during learning like they should. But once the teacher and team and staff kind of focused on meeting those basic needs of a good breakfast or maybe a little rest time during the day, it really helped and transformed the rest of that student's day, just by meeting those basic needs first. And then on my east side of my compass, I said hands-on in real science, kind of going back to what I said about, using real things, whether that's bringing in agriculture or plants or blocks, manipulatives, and just kind of letting students explore, ask questions, make those simple predictions, that intrinsic motivation for students to learn. And putting science with art and stories and reading. I think science is a great thing to put with art, which I love. And I love bringing in different curriculums and different multimedia kind of ways to present the knowledge. And then my southern point, I said kind of differentiating support methods. So that's kind of like those planned tiered tasks that we've learned about throughout this module, and kind of small groups for extra practice, of course, and using lots of visuals and manipulatives, and even technology for diverse learners and people, like the IEPs or different language learners to kind of help. And then the last one on my west side, I put kind of the classroom community, which I think is also a great one, kindness and helpers in a classroom, and rewarding those small wins within a classroom. Kids like to feel valued, and kids like to feel useful in a classroom. I think when kids don't feel useful, they feel bored in a classroom. So just making sure you're always having that positive reinforcement, that the kids are really a part of your learning environment and your learning community, and you're not just individual learners, but you are one learning family, and making sure they know their role in that so they can feel useful in their own learning. So kind of all that together, wrapping up before internship, I'm feeling ready. I'm feeling a little nervous, but I think a little nerves is good. You always want a little bit of nerves to stay sharp and stay on top of yourself. So not bad nerves, but good nerves. And I really love my teacher and I love my classroom, and I'm ready to get back to them in January. and just really remembering to lean on my mentors and lean on my PLCs. They are there for a reason. I do not have to complete this on my own. Like, there are people there to support me, and just remembering to give myself grace and patience and flexibility for my internship, and just kind of celebrate all the small wins that I go through. And kind of looking at the little creature that you posted, I think I am probably the one maybe just kind of sitting on those lower branches, calm, kind of at the bottom, still has stuff to learn and grow. Not quite falling off the tree or on the ground or anything, but just kind of hanging on the bottom branches, waiting to start that climb, and knowing that there's other branches to grab onto up top. So I think that kind of really embodies where I'm at, just kind of waiting and hanging out and ready to start growing and learning, but not quite at the top of the tree yet. But it was a great semester, and I really enjoyed your class and your teaching. And I learned so much. Science is one of my favorite subjects, so it was great to, build lesson plans this semester and actually get to teach them and bring in like the North Carolina agriculture and things that I love and so passionate about, and to really share with my kids this semester.